Since this present time is before the rapture, when Christians die, do they go straight to heaven? And are they aware of what's going on with their loved ones still living here on earth?
Wow. I mean, to put the rapture point in there raises a lot of issues.
Yes.
But I think the question stands whether you had the rapture piece in there or not, right? It's still the question of when a Christian dies, what is their experience then, and are they aware of what's going on with loved ones on earth? I'm not aware of anywhere in Scripture that really speaks to the question of whether someone in heaven is aware of, conscious of things on earth. Are you?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's the great cloud of witnesses that sometimes get translated like they're watching
Revelation,
us.
or
But
Hebrews
that's an
12.
imagery of like running in a stadium. This comes out of Hebrews 11, no, to
12,
12,
1
3,
and 2.
1 and 2, 3. And it's talking about the great cloud of witness, so run the race. But it's an imagery of running in a stadium and they're cheering us on. I wouldn't press that for metaphysical. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a clue as to who's conscious of what and what they're for and where to and thereunto. The whole thing about the rapture is, here's the thing, and this is kind of a paradigmatic thing where the Christianity I inherited when I first became a follower of Jesus at 17 really put a premium, and this is where a lot of us come from, on knowing things. We have to know things, and we have to be right about them. And our sense of security and well-being was in having the right opinions about things. And when your sense of security and standing before God is rooted in knowing things and being right about those things, then you can get very agitated when people question those things, which makes it very hard to learn. And I imagine that as we've talked about hell, and as I'm going to say something about the rapture, a person can get very irritated. That's why we, on a fairly regular basis, have people walk out of the service. And it's like, I understand that. I remember how angry I got when I first went to Yale Divinity School, first semester, was studying a little bit about church history, and learned that the whole idea of the rapture wasn't around until the beginning of the 19th century. I was like, what? What was wrong with those people? What took them so long? But it was like, I thought that was just standard stuff. And it's all pretty much related to one verse in 1 Thessalonians 4. We shall be caught up to meet him in the air. And then I began to read that there's some scholars who would argue that was just kind of customary imagery, again, kind of apocalyptic imagery of staying for God's glory, and that people in church history didn't take that literally. In fact, they argued that the New Testament folks wouldn't have taken that literally. Starting in Scotland in the early 19th century, they started to take that literally, and that's why most evangelicals today, or at least a good percentage, have believed in a literal rapture. And I'm not, that could be right. But I wouldn't invest too much in the rightness of that, because I don't know how the details about how this thing's going to wrap up, and I don't know that it matters. I'm just trusting that the Lord's going to come back and establish his kingdom sooner or later, and I say, Maranatha, come quickly.